I've got another gameplay video here for you today. Now this is Rage, and what I've decided to do with Rage, because I actually played it through so fast and finished the game that I didn't really get time to do my usual first impression and then review. I'm just going to do a whole bunch of playthrough videos, and I'm going to show all different parts of the game. Obviously I won't be able to do a full playthrough because the game's far too long for that, but yeah, I like to show certain missions and talk about the game while I'm showing you those missions. This is right at the beginning of the game, okay? I've just gone through the first cutscene and I'm on my first mission. Haven't upgraded anything yet. You know, I've got my first weapon, which is a pistol. So right at the start, and I'm just going to bring you out for a look at the graphics. This game is a console port, but despite that, it actually looks fairly decent on PC. Now, you know, at the time of release, it had a lot of bugs, and it was the typical bugs of a console port. Like, there was no graphics options in the menus. Typical console port, you couldn't change anything, you couldn't adjust anything, you know, to fix the graphics problems that were happening, which were texture popping, real bad vertical sync issues. So basically lines across the screen, and when you turn around you could see all the textures loading like one by one really slowly. But you know, this game performs extremely well because it's designed for ancient console hardware. And on a PC like mine, you know, it's running at 5760 by 1080, maximum settings, 4x anti-aliasing, so it's completely maxed out, and it's still running at 60 FPS, which is what the game is capped at, another console port thing. But you know, it being a console port, it still looks great. The reason for that, you know, some things that they did with this game was something that they call mega texturing. Basically, they found a way to create endless textures that are not the same, like individual textures, without any pattern. So, you know, the human eye can pick up patterns very easily in things. And when you see the same texture repeated over and over again, it really takes from the look of a game. Even if the game has high-end graphics and DirectX 11 features, if you see the same texture over and over again, or even not over and over again, but even just here and there, it really takes from the look of the game. Now, what they've done with the mega texturing, they've found a really fast way of, creating endless individual textures, so never using that same texture again. And that's what makes this game look really nice. Like, you look around, you can see all those textures, they just look amazing, and they look realistic. And yeah, it's because of the mega texturing. Also, the lighting is very good, and the animations are also very good. Some other things that make this game amazing are, you know, the storyline is great, the dialogue and the narrative. It really is a well done game, and like I said, I've finished the game now. It took me 13 hours to finish the game. I tried to play through all of the missions, but you know, there's some stuff that I skipped. I skipped some of the car racing and things, which you're going to be seeing. And I might have skipped a couple of missions too, but I did my best to do all of them. But 13 hours, so it's a fairly long game, because I play through very quickly, and I did play it through on normal as well. You know, I really hooked through a game because I've played a lot of games, so I know how to play it. So yeah, 13 hours is quite an impressive length too, so I was very happy about that. Now, this game, the reason why I enjoyed it so much is because it has the feel of the old first-person shooter, you know, the old single players. You know, like the kind of atmosphere that Half-Life creates, Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, all of the Half-Life series, and also Doom 3. You know, it has an intense atmosphere, and that atmosphere is really what I like about a game. Atmosphere for me is made up from a whole bunch of things: storyline, graphics, sound, you know, and all the little things, the tiny little things put together. So it might be something so small as one little sound or a certain, you know, piece of music or something like that. But anyway, this game, they've managed to create atmosphere, and Doom 3, the atmosphere in that game, you know, I love those old single player games. They were absolutely awesome. You can kind of feel that atmosphere, and I'd just like to say that for me, this game, the way it looks is somewhere between Doom 3 and Fallout 3, okay? So it's like Doom 3 and Fallout 3 have had a baby, pretty much. That's the way it looks, and it's also the way it feels. So that atmosphere, it's got a kind of, yeah, an atmosphere somewhere between Fallout 3 and Doom 3. Well, that's what it is for me, anyway. So yeah, that goes for the way it looks and the way it feels. So this is the hideout of the Ghost Clan. Now, I just have to tell you a little bit of the storyline so that I can explain this to you. Basically, this is a post-apocalyptic game. So there was a meteor heading towards the Earth, and humanity created these arks. And in the arks, I think they put 10 human beings and made it so that they would wake up 100 years after the meteor hit the Earth and after the dust settled. So, you know, they could wake up and hopefully start again. So I am actually one of those Ark survivors, and I've only just, you know, woken up after 100 years, and this is what I found. I found basically the Earth is a desert. It's, you know, destroyed, but you can still see remnants of civilization. You know, you can see old cities and buildings, but obviously they were destroyed by the meteor, and they've also had 100 years to wither away. So it's, but you know, not everyone died. On the Earth you have bandits, you have mutants, and you also have people that are trying to live in small societies, you know, in a civilized fashion. They're trying to rebuild, but they're constantly fighting with the bandits and the mutants. So what I'm fighting here is bandits, and there's all these different bandit clans, and each bandit clan is a different enemy. You know, they're completely different individuals, so you end up fighting all these individual enemies, and that's what I hope to show you throughout this game. So I've been helped by, you know, one of the civilized people, the people trying to rebuild. I've been helped by them, and now they're asking me to help them in return. And so what they've told me to do is basically take out their threat, which is these bandits. So that's what I'm doing now. So I think that'll do you for storyline. That should explain things fairly well. I'm actually playing this on on hard, which is the third difficulty. There's one above this called Nightmare, which I unlocked after the first playthrough of this game. But basically, as things develop, I'm not sure how many playthrough videos there's going to be. I'd like to do 4 or 5. But yeah, as things develop, as I go through the game, I'll explain it more and more. But I think now I'll just let you can see here I'm picking up loot. It's a big part of the game. You have an inventory so you can basically, the inventory never fills up. Well, it never did for me, so you can grab as much loot as you want. And that loot can be sold, or you can actually build things with it, engineering items. So I'll just show you that. So here's the inventory. This is where you build engineering items. This is your weapons, and you've got a quick access area for your weapons. This is your jobs or missions, and this is your statistics. So yeah, it's open world gameplay. You can select a mission and do it whenever you want. There's optional missions. So there's a lot of different elements mixed into this game, which make it really interesting. You know, it's not just your standard first-person shooter. It's, you know, all those elements brought together make it an interesting and very fun game to play. And I can tell, you know, this game is really designed to be fun. Like, you don't have to drop your weapons. Once you pick up a weapon, it's yours to keep. And you know, there's different ammunition types that you unlock. There's all the engineering items that you can use. There's so many little cool, interesting aspects of this game. When I first played this game, before they brought out the patch, it really did look horrible, and I just thought, oh no, not another console port, you know, because playing these console ports on PC, they're really horrible, and they're just getting worse and worse. But after the patch came out, they did an excellent job, and you know, id Tech 5, despite the fact that it was developed on for consoles and ported to PC, it is really an amazing looking game. It's very individual looking. I mean, it's missing cutting edge, high-end features, and you know, DX11 features. It's backward. Anything designed for consoles is backward because console hardware is backward. It's as simple as that. You know, console hardware is 7 years old. You know, DirectX 9 is over 10 years old now. So it's, you know, graphically it's backward, but still they've managed to create something, you know, very individual looking, and they have done an excellent job at making this game look as good as they possibly could, and the mega textures is really what makes it. And I mean, id has just had so much experience making games that they really know how to make a game. They know how to create atmosphere. I mean, they were really the maker of the first-person shooter genre. So they certainly know what they're doing.
Think you can walk into our house? Take him to the kill.
So it really gives you a feeling of how harsh the world is now.
Ah, you're awake.
This is really what's left of humanity.
I know what's coming. I promise this will hurt.
Now, you might think my character's dead, but this is one of the interesting things about the Ark survivors. They have a lot of mystery surrounding them. And as the game goes on, as I play through the game, I'll talk more and more about this. But one of the cool things is that I have a defib in my chest. Not only does it bring me back to life, it kills everyone around me. Like, you just saw that guy get electrocuted. So it's one of the other things that makes this game really fun. You know, if you forget to save, you've got that second chance, a defib to bring you back to life. It doesn't work all the time though, it has to recharge, and it takes quite a long time to recharge as well. It's a very user-friendly game. It tells you, you know, there's a lot of help throughout the game, and missions automatically activate when you're in the area, things like that. So you don't end up having to drive or to go all the way back to an area again just because you forgot to do a mission or forgot to activate a mission. You know, they'll activate automatically. Things like that. So also, you know, what you find with open world gameplay is that a lot of the time you end up, you know, in the same area of the game a lot, and you really get sick of having to backtrack and go through that area. But there's no backtracking in this game. Once you've completed a mission in an area, there's always a quick way to get out of there, and I think you'll see that with this particular mission, but it just makes the game so much more fun to play. It's just awesome. There's something that I'd like to bring up, and I'm going to talk about it right now. John Carmack is the founder of id Software. So id Software made this game. They made Quake, Doom. As I said, they pretty much, you know, created the first FPS games. You know, what followed was Half-Life and all the rest of them. It's on hard, so it's quite difficult. It takes a lot more shots to bring them down. You pick up a scope for this pistol fairly soon, so it becomes a lot easier to use. And you also pick up a lot of different ammunition types. You can see how awesome the AI is. You know, the behavior of the enemies is amazing. I'll let you see it for yourself. I won't talk about it too much. Also, where they get shot, you know, where they get injured, affects their behavior. Lots of little details added to this game that just really add to the experience. Now, usually I'm really against console ports, and I'll explain why in a minute, but you know, I made an exception for this game because I loved Doom 3, I really like id Software and their games, and you know, it's about time another really good first-person shooter single player came out. And you know, what I saw of this game, all the different enemies and bandit clans and the storyline, I was really intrigued by this game. I remember watching videos of this game ages ago when they brought out the first videos, and yeah, I decided that I was definitely going to buy it. Anyway, the other day I was reading something that John Carmack said. It was a couple of days ago. He openly and straight out said that he regrets developing this game for consoles and porting it to PC. He said that 6 years ago, this is not an exact quote obviously, this is mine, yeah, I'm just repeating, you know, what I read. 6 years ago when he started developing this game, consoles were pretty much equal with PC. You know, console hardware is pretty much equal to PC. And what has happened since then is obviously PCs move forward very, very quickly. You can upgrade a PC anytime you want. This hardware is constantly being released. So, you know, if you keep upgrading your PC, it can consistently be cutting edge. Consoles, on the other hand, have not been upgraded for a long, long time, and their hardware is now very, very behind. On average, and this is in John Carmack's words, he said that a PC is 10 times more powerful than a console on average. And you know, that's the average PC. If you look at my PC with Tri-SLI GTX 580 3GB editions, a Core i7 980X, fully overclocked and water cooled, that's an extremely high-end PC. Something like that would even be 20 times more powerful than a console. So basically, you know, the point is that the games that such cutting-edge, high-end hardware can run are far more technologically advanced. And I'd just like to say before I go on that I'm not trying to create any hate or arguments. If I see any aggressive or abusive comments about this, I will delete those comments. I'm trying to, you know, possibly create a discussion, but, you know, use your brains. Don't get aggressive. Don't troll. It's just, anyway, I'm not trying to create hate. Is all I'm saying. So he regrets developing it for consoles because consoles are now so far behind, and you know, this game could have been so much more technologically advanced if he had have developed it on PC, because then, you know, it would have followed the you know, the PC as it moved forward. And he said in the future he will not do that again. You know, all games from id Software in the future will be developed on PC, which means they will have cutting edge graphics. They will be a cutting edge game. Okay, so that's something that I read from John Carmack, and this is really, really exciting, because what it means is that it's not only going to be good for PC gamers, it's also going to be good for console gamers. If a game is developed on PC, it can be scaled back to consoles. So that means that it will be a cutting edge game. It will have all the latest graphics features, which means not just the way it looks, but also the physics. So then it will be, scaled back to consoles, and consoles will end up getting a far better experience as well. So it's not just for PC gamers, it's also for console gamers. So I was very happy to hear this. Something else, back when I first started seeing videos of Battlefield 3, I knew it was going to be amazing. And I knew that there was going to be a lot of change in the gaming world, because if such an incredible game was coming out, then people would realise that all the console ports that are coming out, they would see the lack of quality, the lack of how far behind these games actually are, compared to Battlefield 3. And I decided that developers would actually have to start to follow suit, and more games would be developed on PC. And I knew that Battlefield 3 would have this effect on developers, and we'd get better games, basically, straight up, just better games, in a whole bunch of different ways. And sure enough, I think that John Carmack has probably seen Battlefield 3, and he thought, well, look at that, a game that's been developed on PC and then scaled back to consoles, and then look at my game, look at Rage, it's been developed on consoles and then just whacked on PC as a port. And he's realised that he's realised what Rage could have been, and so that's why he regrets developing it for consoles. Games play an important part in my life, they play a big part in my life, they're part of my job, and it really was starting to upset me to see that gaming was not developing, it was not moving forward, it was stagnant. And consoles were causing it to be stagnant. A lot of people have this argument that consoles are better. What is a console? A console is basically a 7-year-old PC. Okay? It's very simple. So, don't we want our games to move forward? Don't we want them to develop, to become better? It's like using old technology. It's like using a brick phone, like a brick mobile phone, when you can use a nice slim smartphone. Why would you do it? People have all these arguments about games. They say, oh, graphics don't matter. Gameplay is what matters. But why can't we have both? What is wrong with having both? And it's physics as well. And having amazing graphics and physics opens up the possibilities for better gameplay, for better storyline. But yeah, it's just something that I wanted to bring up because it's something surrounding Rage. John Carmack is the founder of id Software, and his opinion really means something in the world of gaming, because he's been a developer for a long time, nearly 20 years I think. So yeah, very exciting, and basically means that we're going to see more advanced and better games in the future, more technologically advanced games. Anyway, I've completed that first mission, and now I've moved on from the first settlement where I was, where I just drove from then to this next little settlement, and I'm just picking up more missions here. Okay, so that concludes my Rage playthrough, part 1. There will certainly be more playthroughs, I'm not sure how many I'm going to do yet. Anyway, thanks for watching everyone. Please subscribe, like and favourite if you want to see more.